Hello, everybody. It's been way too long since our last Dragonsmeet. I'm Rustic Dragon, and I'm totally lounging today. Look at my mess. My place has not been this messy since I moved in. What you are seeing here is my second move in, because I moved out to make the HoBLotH, and then I moved it all back in without really sorting it. Most of the stuff there was mine, aside from the cabins, of course, and which is why I have way too much stuff. So you can see my mess here. But I am tired still. I'm taking it easy. You can excuse my horrific posture, but we are all here to talk about last weekend, and hopefully you guys had a good time last weekend and have some good things to say about it. But really, you know, I've said everything that I want to say last week.
And that's where we're getting feedback.
Oh, we got people talking, so I'm going to mute some people here. Everybody's muted. There we go. So, yeah, I said everything that I really wanted to say at the event. So, in case you guys have more things you want to say, you know, come say these more things. And without further ado, let's do our Hearth of Britannia style introductions. What's really awesome is I do see a new Hearth of Britannia face, not a new member of Hearth of Britannia, but a first-time Dragonsmeet, so that's really exciting. When we get to Heather, we will make sure to raise a toast to her. But starting as usual, let's have our traditional Hearth of Britannia introductions. I'm Rustic Dragon. I am the proprietor of the Hearth of Britannia and lord of all this mess. And Adam, would you like to say hello to everybody, Mr. Golden Flame?
Hello, everybody. I'm Adam. I am Golden Flame Dragon, and I am still exhausted. And slowly in another window composing a Facebook post to let the Muggles know what I did this weekend, and I keep having to edit it down because it's like, no, this is too much. So that's me.
Fair enough. I'm still waiting for all the photos to come in before I make any large grand posts. At last I'm told the total should be right around 125 gigs of photos. So,
I will be up in a minute, Oliver. You're going to have to wait.
Okay. So I'm waiting for those. That's going to be awesome. So Browncoat, I know you're going to be up in a minute, but are you available to say hello?
Yes, sorry. I'm in the process of trying to get my camera to work.
Excellent.
Which is dead for some reason. So, hi, I'm Browncoat, and you can't see me. Well,
there you go. So, Heather, if you're there, welcome to the Hearth of Britannia. Heather, I will introduce on your behalf before you say hello to everybody. Heather is a wonderful, wonderful person. She had reached out to me before the event and said, "Hey, I want to help." And I said, "Well, what do you want to do?" And she said, "I just want to help, unconditionally, help. Look, I have experience." And she showed me the UO luncheons that she used to help do at Castleton, where the event was. And I was like, that's really awesome. And she's like, I've done Game of Thrones dinners. And I'm like, okay, this is just awesome. And we had a quick meeting of the minds via Google+. And I was like, definitely, this is the person, you know, this is the great person to come to my event. And Heather came, and she was our provisioner. And the best part is, in great Origin Portalarium style, you know, this was definitely an Ultima because it was a crazy fiasco at one point. I'm told that almost all Origin productions at some point were bits of crazy fiascos, and Heather did a great job. I basically handed her the provisions, and I said, "Figure it out," and she figured it out. So, Heather, would you like to say hi to everybody?
I think so. My camera's not working. How is my audio? Great. Okay, good.
You sound good.
Good. So, yeah, I used to run the Ultima Online Player Lunches in Austin, where we would get together, the players together with the developers, and that was quite a big deal for us for several years. We used to do events here in town as well as at the Texas Renaissance Festival, which is going on this weekend, and also the Scarborough Fair in the spring. When I heard about your event, I thought it was awesome, and it just kind of sounded like a player's lunch on crack, and I was real excited to get a chance to be a part of it. And considering that I was Guild Mistress of the Cove Merchants Guild on Great Lakes, it was just perfect to be asked to be the provisioner at Cove this weekend.
Excellent. Well, there was plenty of crack at this event, and most of it belonged to David Peters, and it got grabbed. But more on that in a moment. So thank you again for coming. Welcome. I'm really glad to have a new face at the hearth, even if we can't see it. Indi, how are you tonight?
I am awesome. I look a bit like an Eskimo because it is very cold down here, and the space heater flips the breaker if I have it in the computer on. So I'm just going to look like an illusion. So also still recovering for the weekend in a great way. I have nothing further to say. It was awesome.
Excellent. Mr. Garrity, how are you? Obviously slimmer than we all think you are.
Well, thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. I am doing very, very well. I'm happy and healthy and still haven't cleaned up the avalanche that EA actually brought me. So I'm still going to work on that. And I wanted to say a special hi to Heather. It was really cool because I had met Heather before at the UXO alpha release in San Francisco. They were kind enough to invite me there. And just like I said, Heather, I really have saved the cookies. They're right there. So I just want to say thanks very much, Joseph, for such a fantastic, fantastic time. We had a ball.
I agree. If it wasn't for Joseph Drayson and his minifigs, it just wouldn't have been as good a time.
I love how Dr. Cat flipped out over that many, many times. He told me twice and then posted it in Facebook.
But you're absolutely welcome. It was, of course, my pleasure. Violation, how are you tonight?
Very well, and I actually want to extend that and say very clearly that Joseph/Rustic, thank you. I mean, for those of you who don't know, I did not submit my application to go because I didn't feel like I was well enough in the group, and Joseph actually reached out to me and said, dude, you've been so excited about this event. Why didn't you submit an application? And I said, well, I didn't want to mess it up. And such a great time, such a great event, and I appreciate it. You guys are great. So.
Do you really think I would have let someone come who would have screwed it up?
Nope.
Exactly. Mr. Drayson, how are you tonight?
I am doing pretty well, still recovering. I echo a lot of everything pretty much has already been said. Great time, thank you for it. It was not something I would ever have thought I would be I'd be comfortable doing, or actually proactively doing, but I had an absolutely fantastic time. It was really emotional experience, and as anyone who's on the message on Facebook, since for a lot of us, it was quite an experience, and many of us are still recovering physically, mentally, and emotionally. So thank you to everyone.
I'm with you there, Drayson. Stairs are still killing me. It's pretty bad, actually. I'm still very much a lump. So hopefully I'll be able to buzz up the stairs again with youthful vigor, but it may take some time. Miracle Dragon, it is good to see you. I am heading back to the venue tomorrow morning to both drop off Lord British's Cabinet of Virtue, which is over there drying out right now from the cleaning I gave it, as well as to search the top bunk of the jail for your missing book. Got to unmute yourself, Miracle.
Oh, is it my turn? Hi.
Yes, it is.
Well, thank you so much. I had a great time. I'm discovering each morning new scrapes on my sides and my arms from the event. I'm like, this is nice. But anyway, yeah, it's great to see everybody. Heather, welcome. You were a great provisioner, and thank you for your assistance in the Harmony quest. It's great to see everybody. Thank you.
The Harmony quest, one of many quests that didn't quite come to fruition. Hey, all I can say is you could never really find out who killed Quentin in Ultima 6, so it's only fitting that I had a couple quests you couldn't complete. So how are you tonight, Phoenix?
I'm doing great. Still on cloud 9 from the event, and like Miracle, still working through my various wounds. I actually got a mild case of trench foot on Saturday, so but I've almost got all the feeling back in my feet, so I'm good. I'm good.
Was it worth it? So you guys mentioned, you're discovering your wounds. I have little tears and scrapes on almost every finger, just from in splinters and all kinds of stuff. I thought about taking close-up photos of my fingers, saying, HoBLotH prep hands, but I didn't want to, gross anybody out. But yeah, we are here to. Got tons of fun stuff going over here. We're basically here to talk about the HoBLotH, and because I think that's what everybody wanted to talk about. Adam, I know you have to leave soon, so I'm happy to turn the floor over to you so you can say whatever you like. If you want, my saxophone is around here somewhere if you'd like me to serenade you again.
That was really, like I said on Facebook, it was hilarious. It was the great apotheosis of that entire year and a half of giving me shit, but it was also a really fucking amazing performance. Like, seriously. So I do really hope that there is video of that, and or that Stephen can get a good master copy of that. I'm also impressed at how quickly they're moving, working through the masters from the concert. I'm still waiting on a master from a show in May. So I'm not sure what in particular. I suppose we can assume that there is more audience that wasn't there for the closing ceremonies, but I certainly tried to say everything important at the closing ceremonies. It was playing in Ultima. It was really fantastic to meet people. It was a lot of fun. I think that the part that really, however, made the biggest impression for me was just how great absolutely everybody was, which is probably at least partially testament to your interview process. Because every now and then I do entertain the theory that, it's virtues and all of that stuff, and therefore Ultima fans are possibly going to be better people. And then, as I've noted before on earlier Dragonsmeets, then I go and I reread the news group and I'm immediately disabused of this notion. But everybody who was there was fantastic. People that I already knew, people that I only knew from here, people that I'd never heard of before. It was really good time, and I was really happy that we managed to sneak over and managed to get that spar in with Richard on Monday before I flew out. And my flight home was late anyway, so we didn't actually have to rush as much as we did.
Speaking of that duel with Lord British, I do have a video of that. Unfortunately, I don't know why. Normally with my camera, I can be shooting video and snap stills in the middle of the video. But when I tried to do that with you guys, it actually stopped the video. So your duel is in 2 parts, which is frustrating. I might, if you're really nice, I might be arsed to put that together in one video. But I'll be posting that along with all the other photos when the time comes. I've asked the photographers to try to get those to me by tomorrow night, so I can work on them all weekend, and then you'll have them on Monday. But we'll see. The FTP isn't exactly the fastest thing, but hopefully that'll work, and then the world can see your duel with Lord British that came down to the last touch.
Yeah, I had no idea you were filming. I figured, hey, this is great because, if we'd fought in Castleton at the end of Sunday, maybe nobody would have even been there. Who knows where the photographers were or if they were even still, on duty at all. So I was like, hey, this is cool that we're doing it this way because Joseph's taking some pictures. So it's really cool that that's actually not just pictures. I'm excited to see it. So I appreciate that. And just that you helped make it happen in the first place.
Of course, that's what I do. I like to help make things happen. It's very fun for me.
Yeah, but I like making sure that we communicate our appreciation for it. So.
Excellent. You can make checks payable to Joseph Toshlog, 7409 Shadow Hill Drive. No, I'm kidding.
But with that, I will yield the floor for now and see if I think of anything else worth saying as we go on.
Can I actually jump in and say something to Adam?
As far as I'm concerned.
Dude, it was great to spend the weekend with you, man. Seriously. I love getting to know you better, and I appreciate different pointers that you gave me with things. This is the first time forgive me if I say this right, boffer combat, is that right? This is the first time I ever picked up a sword to do any of that stuff, and you and Seth had both given me some pointers, and I basically spent the whole time questing with you, so I loved being able to listen to you, and for those of you who don't know, Adam has a very scary set of garb that when you see him coming, you will run in terror, because you know he's serious, and you know he's good, so yeah, it was great. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, Adam is in armor from head to freaking toe. There's no way you're going to get a hit on Adam unless you have a magical weapon or you have to hit him multiple times. And there were a couple times that I serpent venomed into the fort to get the flag, and I run through everybody, and I run to the fort, and I'm like, God damn it, because Adam is just standing there guarding the flag, and I realize even if I kill him, I don't have enough time to get the flag and get back out. And so that was awesome. That was you should have been on our side.
The black armor obviously would have been more, visually that side, but no. But thank you, Violation. That's really kind of you to say. I did really enjoy doing questing with you and Phoenix and yours.
Considering your shield, you had to be on Lord British's side.
Exactly.
Can I jump in for just a second and say something to Adam? I never really thought about it, but you look a little bit like Kenny G.
That's it. You're all going to die.
All right, I think Joe just challenged Adam to a duel. How do you guys feel about that?
To the death.
Parlay?
That's what it sounded like, yeah.
Joe, we'll give you a foam replica of Sting, so you can look like Bilbo when you fight Adam, and that'll be awesome.
Am I allowed to serpent venom Joe?
Boots of speed, so I can run.
Or you could be Sting from Dune, and then you'll have, Sting against Kenny G.
So this duel is now going to be a musical duel to the death.
Give me some running music.
You'll know the Brooks movie.
Some what music?
Some running music. You gotta play like the theme to Benny Hill or something. Yakety sax. That'd be perfect.
Yeah, I was already considering putting Yakety sax over my duel with Richard Garriott. There's nothing it doesn't make better.
You have to speed it up to at least 1.5, if not twice the speed to do that, though.
That's true.
All right. Miracle Dragon, I know you had a good time. You definitely win the award for. Well, let me back up for a second. I've dabbled in Amped Guard, I've dabbled in SCA, and one of the things that was said to me, I think maybe my first event in the SCA was, I said, how can I help? What can I do to help? And I was told, oh, you like to help. Service will get you very far in the SCA. And you basically like the first, I don't know, 12 hours that you were there, you walked up to every single person and said, how can I help? How can I help? How can I help? What can I do to help? I want to help. And you followed me around saying, how can I help? What can I do to help? And of all the people that was there, I think you were the most, like, out of the way, I'm going to help, I'm going to be a leech until you let me help. Feed me helping, and I will go away. It was amazing. So I just want to thank you again for that. But I know you had a good time helping everybody and participating, but what are your thoughts?
Oh, this was definitely amazing for me. I think a few people maybe haven't camped quite as much as I have, so I was certainly happy to help with tents. A lot of people were all caught up when they got here and where they were and who was already here, and in my mind, all I could think about is now you're going to have to put up your tent in the dark. So I just wanted to be able to help because I know what that feels like. So I'm glad everyone was able to have a good time and that I could help. It helped, I think, everyone, including myself, to just enjoy it and not get frustrated just on the get-go and not be able to get a good sleep. So no problem. I had tons and tons and tons of fun, so it was worth it, every bit of it.
Excellent. I believe Browncoat is screen sharing. There it is. Browncoat is screen sharing the imposing Mr. Burr. Although this does not look like the HoBLotH to me.
That looks to me like a picture that I have on my Facebook from one of the local run fairs, but that is my armor.
Excellent. All right, who has other thoughts? Just feel free to jump in, guys. This is not structured.
Well, I had said this, and obviously again, what Adam said about about living an adventure since I was a kid. This is the kind of thing I fantasize about while playing the game, that I was actually on this adventure. And for a weekend, as silly as it may sound, I really did feel like that, and I felt like everyone I was with, everyone here included, was in my adventure party or was someone I was encountering on my adventure. And it was a really, it was a very special experience. And I think, Joseph, you mentioned like in the battle everyone was suddenly a kid again, and it really felt like that. And I haven't felt that level of kind of, and anything is possible in a long time. And it was really, it was very good. And it was a very pleasant feeling, and I really, just had a great time.
My God, can we do that battle every week? It was so much fun.
I don't know if my body would survive that.
Well, there are some rules that need to be amended if we do that again. A couple of rules need to be changed a little bit. Serpent venom needs to be toned back just a wee bit.
Serpent venom!
Serpent venom!
So serpent venom is definitely a little bit on the overpowered side.
Just to be clear, it is virtuous to use because you are sacrificing yourself.
Well, the problem with serpent venom is one person with the knife, that I may want to point out, the rules explicitly state that if you purchase a magic weapon, you are not allowed to lose the magic weapon. Lord British's team stole one of Blackthorn's team's serpent weapons. By the end of the battle, you guys had 2 of them, and there's only 2 in the game, and we started with 1. So I want to throw out there that that's not exactly virtuous.
We
but
liberated
that said, the problem is, and Star pointed this out, is that one person can stand there and cut the arms off their entire team and send them on a berserker rage. He suggested making the amendment of you can only inflict serpent venom once per your life. So if you want, basically you can use it once on another person and then it resets when you die, just like most of the other reagents. I'm okay with that. I think that's a good way to put it. I wouldn't say necessarily 1, but maybe 2 or 3. The idea that I had for serpent venom was if you get infected with serpent venom, so you have 10 seconds of serpent venom. But the next time you get infected with serpent venom, you have 9 seconds of serpent venom, and so on and so forth until serpent venom simply instantly kills you. And that counter would not be reset until the end of the battle. that was my approach to it, but that's probably a little harder to keep track of. I like Star's method a little better. It just plays in with the resurrection a little bit more. So that's one change that I would have to the battle. I think the 10-second resurrections was a good call. It was really funny that everybody was counting out loud when they were dead. You didn't actually have to count out loud when you were dead. You just had to, count in your head and have have a weapon over your head, say, "Hey, I'm dead." And then, but when you were resurrecting as a ghost, you did have to make your ghosty sounds. I thought that was kind of fun to hear everybody counting out loud, and it was, of course, awesome to be dead longer and longer and longer to try to catch your breath. And I remember watching many people be dead and go, "Oh, thank God, I'm going to sit here and rest. I'm dead. 1, 2, 3," and then Richard comes up behind them and says, "In Monty Corp," and he's like, "God damn it, I want to be dead for a moment. Let me be dead. I'm tired." And Richard's like, "Get up and fight." That was outstanding.
If I'm mistaken, that was actually supposed to have a 1-minute cooldown, was it not?
It was. Richard was a little excited with his resurrections. Originally, the rule was Richard can only resurrect people once per minute, but he kind of went on a resurrecting spree and just, "You're alive, you're alive, you're alive, everybody's alive." And
he was also using it a lot as people were already coming back to the base. So it's like, I'm like 3 steps away from resurrecting anyways, and you're resurrecting me. I guess that's worthwhile, but okay.
I would say the 10-second rule, while it was, it definitely made the game go a lot quicker. Things that did reset on death, like reagents, it encouraged people to like suicide to get their reagents back.
It also made it difficult to actually attack a base and get the
because people
flag.
would be up while you're still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what there needs to be, something that else I would change for this one is I would make the spawn point the fort on one side, the ship on the other, and the beer station was on the 50-yard line on one side. I would make the spawn point the 50-yard line on the other side, because you were basically raiding someone's home base, and then someone would just appear alive behind you and kill you, which is something I was trying to prevent. So next time the spawn point will be in a neutral location away from home bases. I think that's an important change to make to the rules.
As archers, we were able to just stand back up as soon as we died, so that was kind of awesome, but I can see how that change would probably be necessary.
And another thought I had was it might is having the flag reset at a certain time. Like it was extremely hard to capture the flag, and maybe these other rules would change that. But if maybe once you've had it for 5 minutes, the flag resets back to the middle.
So I'd actually like to jump in here. I think all these comments are really great, but we're missing something of the encouragement. I've never participated in one of these battles before, and I had more than one person come up to me and say, "This is insane. There's going to be drinking and people that don't know what they're doing smashing each other's faces, and anybody in their right mind would be fleeing in terror right now." So I want to say that something that could probably only happen with this hand-picked group of amazing people is in the middle of combat, you've got this chaotic battle going on, and you would have stuff like, I hit you, and both people just kind of stop and say, "What just happened?" And they figure it out, they come to an agreement, and the person with the higher level of knowledge would usually be the other guy if I was involved, so I would yield to whatever they say, but legitimately, they would figure it out, and things would go on. And I think it was awesome that this battle could incorporate people who had never been part of anything like it before to bring us into living our childhood dreams as well, even though we hadn't leveled up in that kind of combat. So, yeah, there's a note of good. Something that worked great that doesn't need to be changed is that.
The same thing happened when people got hurt. Like, I know I fell a few times and slid, and even the person I was fighting with would stop and check to make sure I'm okay.
I was very worried about David once or twice. He slipped on the ship, and I was like, "Oh my God, I thought he broke his back."
That ship was deadly, that ramp. It was like an ice skating rink.
That's good to know.
Yeah, I slipped on that
Many
rim
spills
too,
on that.
quite a few times.
So an interesting thing, I was privileged to have lunch with Dr. Cat and Lord British today, and Lord British admitted to me that there was a couple things that he wasn't so sure about that he ended up being pleasantly surprised about. When we first, this is the Hearth of Britannia event. Everyone's welcome at the hearth. Everyone has a voice at the hearth. That's like a core tenet of the Hearth of Britannia. You always introduce yourself. You always say hello, and you always have a closing toast. It's important to me that everybody has a voice, and if you don't feel like you have a voice, then we need to talk because I feel I have done something wrong. That's why there was a cap of 50 people. And there will likely always be a cap of 50 people if there's going to be an in-person event because I want everyone to always have a voice. And if you go past 50 people, it's much, much harder to do that. But Richard said when I decided to let everybody introduce themselves, his first thought was, oh God, this is going to take a while. And then when I said everybody do closing toast, his thoughts were, oh God, this is going to take a while. And he said that in the end, he understood why I do that, and that it was a very good thing that everybody got to express themselves and definitely understand and not just feel like you are part of the event, but know that it is a Hearth of Britannia event where every person is an important building block. And I was really glad that I was really happy to hear him say that. And the other thing that he said was just similar to everybody introducing themselves and everybody having closing toasts, he was worried about the battle. He thought, man, all these rules, these are crazy. This is going to be a clusterfuck. And I believe I quote when I say clusterfuck. And he said that once he was worried that it was just going to be too many rules to memorize and no one's going to know what's going on. But then he said the rules were just enough that there was variety and fun and people could try different things and they had a great time. And had it just been swords only, it wouldn't have been nearly as interesting. And so he said he was pleasantly surprised about the battle game too, which of course made me very happy because I spent a decent amount of time, going through that battle in my mind. So I was happy to hear that it was deemed a success.
All our favorite game designer just congratulated you on your game design.
Yay! All right, we have.
I'm sorry. I actually was curious. For those who didn't come, are you going to take some time to kind of explain an overview of what happened? Because I know there were a lot of people that said they wish they could be there. Are you going to try to give them a "this is what I did"?
Maybe.
Okay.
It's maybe. So we have not yet heard from Indi. Do you have thoughts?
You never find that unmute button very easily. Well, I shared most of my thoughts on HoBLotH Memories. It was just it was the best weekend of my life. It was amazing. I meant it when I said that everyone was so friendly and so accepting just from the get-go. Like as soon as you walked onto the property, everyone seemed like the closest of friends, and that's a really rare thing for a group of people who largely don't know each other to just be able to. I mean, there was no ice breaking because it wasn't even necessary, so that was incredible. I mean, the quests were so much fun. No one got to see, I think, even a tenth of what you actually laid out, but that made it a personal game. Everyone's game was a little bit different. I don't think anybody had the exact same experience, but we all had an experience that we'll treasure forever. So I definitely lift if I had a glass, I would lift it to you.
Yeah.
Plus, it was a lot of fun shooting my bow. That was a blast.
So of course, there were go hug people quests and go duel people quests and go drink in front of people quests. So there were built-in icebreakers just in case. Fun stuff like that. Silly stuff like that, really. But, of course, most of us knew each other ahead of time.
There were go hug people quests?
There was. The happiness quest.
Then I inadvertently completed, some other thing. I just didn't get it checked off on my book. I was hugging people randomly just because I was loving what I was doing.
Exactly. Well, just in case people were afraid to hug, it was built into the game. If you went to Penumbra and talked to her about virtue, she told you that her virtue was happiness. And the reason that I decided that I wanted Penumbra's virtue to be happiness is because we're friends on Facebook, and everything she posts is awesome. It's, hey, look, I'm making this thing. Hey, look, I'm doing this thing. Here's how you build this thing. Look at this thing I'm researching. Hey, don't be a dick. This is how you don't be a dick. Check out this political thing. These people are being assholes. Don't do that. You know, this is how to be nice to people. Like, she's very much an owner of her happiness. Few people I've ever met understand that you can own your own happiness. You know, a lot of people around, they say everything sucks, there's nothing I can do about it. And she's like, fuck that, I own my happiness. And that's the impression that I've gotten from her. So I wanted her to be the happiness quest giver, and I figured what more simple, fun way to spread happiness is other than hug people. So if you talk to her, she said happiness is best shared. Go spread happiness. Go hug 5 people. Have them sign for their hug, you know, UPS style, and come back to me, and I'll give you a hug, and you'll receive the virtue of happiness. So there were people running around questing for hugs. It's all touchy-feely.
And then on the other side was Nistel, who made everybody's quest unique.
And so about that, so let me let you guys in on a secret about what Nistel's quest really was. Specifically with Scotty. Scott Jones, the Justice Quest involved you taking a writ to Lord British requesting a pardon for someone who was really unjustly put to death years before the event took place. And you requested in this writ an unspecified bit of restitution to give to the family. Well, you don't know how much it is, but Lord British does, because it's in his little book. And Scotty knows how much you're supposed to get. So if you bring back exactly what Lord British gives you, Scott Jones checks your book off a certain way. If you bring back less, he checks your book off a different way. And there were a few built-in checks like this throughout some of the virtue quests. And originally, you go up to Nistel and you say, you know, help me with honesty. And he says, okay, let me see your book. And he would say either you are honest, you're not honest, or I need more, you need to come back later. And since the only quest there was that had the check built in was Scotty's, because a couple of the others didn't get put out, Nistel just made the most amazing shit up. He ad-libbed stuff better than I could have written in 10 years. Everybody came back. Like, people walked out of the reagent shop with this 1,000-yard stare, like, blown away, like they just learned something about themselves. People were moved by Nistel's quests and by the things that he had, and it was just stuff he was pulling out of his butt. It's amazing. And so I know anybody who actually went to the reagent shop to talk to Nistel, that was a high point of their quest, and I wish I could have asked him some questions.
One of my favorite parts was when I ended up buying a finger from Nistel for reagents. So I traded him my reagents for the finger, and giving Nistel reagents was awesome.
Awesome. So he gave you the finger. Excellent.
What was your experience like this weekend, Joseph? Because it was all brand new to us, but as the event organizer, you need to have done many of the quests, obviously.
That's a good question. So from a planning standpoint, well, there are many things that I would do differently. So I think I'd like to start with that. Then I'll tell you about, you know, my thoughts. And I'm going to, when I make the recap, that's going to go on the front page of the website with all the pictures, I'm going to put all this stuff. But there are several things that I would do differently. I had planned to make the stew Wednesday, let it simmer for days in advance, and be essentially living at the property starting Thursday. So I was supposed to have all of Thursday to set up and Friday before 5 p.m. to set up. And my schedule got delayed by exactly 1 day. So I lost an entire day to set up, which is why a lot of the stuff wasn't set up. So that was my bad. Were I to do this again, I absolutely, most certainly would have made sure that everything was set up on the original schedule. The second thing is I would have, while I didn't really have access to a team this time, I think if I ever wanted to do this again, wrangling a team together in advance might not be as difficult. I think more people would be willing to help. So next time, I'm going to have a team in advance to help. And a big thing that I just want to publicly apologize for, I was not aware, and I'm so sorry. This was not purposeful. This was not by design. This was the mother of all party fouls, and I take full responsibility for this. I was not aware until Sunday night, after people had left, when I went to start cleaning the tavern, that there was no water. The water was not connected. It was not turned on. There was supposed to be free-flowing water for everyone at the event. You should never have had trouble getting water. You shouldn't have had to buy water from the grocery store. You should have had to bring water. You should have been able to go get glass after glass after glass of water at the tavern, no problem. But it simply wasn't turned on. And that was totally, we had over $1,000 worth of alcohol and no water. And that was just, I'm so sorry about that.
It's so funny. I didn't seem to notice.
No, there wasn't a shortage. Like, there's so many of us that brought water. Just don't feel bad about that at all. There were literally cases and cases of bottles of water that never went used. So,
but no one knew where to get them.
Apologize for nothing, because that worked fine. I know it didn't work as planned, but don't feel bad.
But that's your experience. And your experience is, I had plenty of water. Some people's experiences were, I don't know where to get water, I need water. So not everybody had a pleasant, I'm rolling in the water experience. So I do apologize for that. That's something that I let it go so I can live my life, but something that I'm upset about from a planning standpoint. So I'm definitely sorry about that. Something interesting, the 2 days before the event, the weather was brilliant. The 2 days of the event, the weather was brilliant again. I mean, it's just gorgeous outside right now in Austin. And it's freezing during the event, and of course that's November. The problem with having the event in November was not that it was crappy weather, it's that there were short daylight hours. One of the things that I did, Scott Jones did not want to have the dance in the dark for safety. It was originally scheduled to be 7 o'clock to allow another hour and a half to 2 hours of questing, which I think everybody would have liked. But we moved the dance inside of daylight hours so we didn't have to set up lights, because I didn't want to worry about doing lights or anything like that. In hindsight, we probably just should have set up lights and danced in the dark, and that would have been a great time. But there definitely needed to be more questing hours. Ideally, this event would run Monday through Friday, but I don't know how many people that can take off an entire week. But so that was something that the questing hours definitely got cut short a little bit. But if we had the same event just a month or two earlier, we would have an hour, 2 hours, if not 3 hours of more daylight to play with. So, there's definitely want to have more daylight to play with. And another thing that someone suggested that would be really fun is, well, tournaments are all fun and dandy, but where was the Bardic tournament? Where was the storytelling tournament? Where was the cooking tournament? Where was the baking bread? And I do have to admit, Amazon's Easy Bake Oven that I wanted to have so everybody could bake bread was back-ordered. I tried so hard to let there be a little way for people to bake bread, but it was back-ordered, and I apologize. So next time there will be bread baking. But, so, to answer your question, what the hell are you doing, Joe?
Sorry, I'm playing.
Cracking me up there. but how did I feel about the event? So Friday night I was, really excited, really revved, work, making all the signs, getting everything staged, trying to put out as much as I can, and I was pretty much MIA Friday. Came to warm up by the fire a little bit, but basically Saturday I woke up, started putting everything out, had the cast meeting, had the opening ceremonies, and things weren't quite staged yet, so I was kind of freaking out a little bit. And then once I got the tavern open, the armory open, and the reagent shop open, and the provision store open, I basically said, you know what? Fuck it. It's time to play. I could have spent the next 2.5 hours putting out all the other stuff. Of course, I never found that envelope with the quest stuff in it, but I could have spent the rest of the time just stressing and worrying, or I could have just said, you know what? No one's really going to know. Let's just run with it. And what was exciting for me was, and I should have realized this was going to happen, I handed out swords to everybody at the martial training, and then at that point, everybody just whacking each other with swords. You give two people swords, and they just start whacking each other. Like, that alone would have kept everybody occupied for like 3 hours. And so I should have realized the instant that I give everybody swords, they're going to be happy for a while, and there's nothing really to worry about. But that was plenty of distraction for me to get everything else out. And I said, you know what? You've prepped and prepped and prepped for this. You have spent literally hundreds of hours putting this together. It's time to stop, look around, and realize the event. It's time to live in the moment and have fun, and basically just go tell all the NPCs what they can and can't do. And I just said it's time to trust. I trust Heather to do the best she can. I trust Jeff D to do the best he can with his quest. I trust Nystel to do what he can do. And most people were none the wiser. And everybody had a great time. And frankly, Nystel did a better job ad-libbing than I could have written. I couldn't have asked for a better cast. I mean, the reason these are X-Origin folks for a reason. So I ended up having, after I realized, oh, everyone's just whacking each other with swords and having a great time. Everyone's having fun. I'm going to have fun. And the instant that I decided to have fun, it was nothing but fun. And it just got better and better and better. Watching people do the quests. One other thing that I would change. 2 people working the tavern nonstop. Dr. Kat's outside of the goddamn tavern. He is not working in the tavern. He's telling his stories outside the tavern and not expected to help anybody get food. So you got 2 tavern wenches or man wenches. What's a man wench? Is a man wench? Those are sandwiches my mom used to give me as a kid, right? Man wenches. So you got 2 wenches in the tavern, totally full-time tavern duty, and Dr. Kat's outside of the tavern. So no offense to Dr. Kat, but there was definitely a backup at the tavern. So we'll fix that for next time. So aside from having to occasionally go try to fix logistical problems like that, I was just having a ball. Walking around. I loved watching everybody duel. Everybody's hugging. Everyone's dancing. David Peters is randomly squawking because someone grabs him from behind. Just everybody was having a great time, and I had a great time because of that. I've said it a couple times that probably my favorite part, aside from Joe Garrity realizing that there's trinkets in the far cabin and just running to it, that made me happy, was we get the battle ready. We're going to go, right? We're getting ready. We're all fired up. We charge. And I run across and I die, and I'm like, okay, I'm dead. And I respawn. And I'm like, okay, got to make sure I remember how to do everything. Got to follow my own rules. I'm looking around. Is everybody, how's everybody doing? I respawn. I charge again, and I die after I kill some people. And like the 3rd time I do that, I'm at this point getting tired because I sprinted across the field, and I look around, and Joe Garrity is running, and when he died, he rolled, he jumped and rolled and died dramatically, and and everyone is not just fighting, they're smiling. It looked like a battlefield full of 7-year-old kids running down the stairs on Christmas to just open presents. And this lasted for 50 minutes. The energy never stopped. And I was just, that right there, that was the moment that I realized this is a successful event because everyone's having fun, like a lot of fun. No one's upset, no one's angry, and that was the point where I just, the only thing that I could do at that point was just, I tilted my head back and I just started laughing. It was such a wonderful feeling because I knew that everything after that was already in place. It was like everything else was on rails at that point, and it was just going to get more magical for everybody else, and all I had to do was watch people be happy, and that was really exciting for me, that particular moment when I realized everything's going to work out.
Can I add something, Joseph?
Of course.
The fact that some of the quest givers actually came back on Sunday to help people finish some of their quests, I think, was incredibly admirable. It was so neat to see Nimrod in his element on Sunday at about 12:30, just giving more quests to allow people, and he was in full motion and working on his story and crafting his tale for other people, and it was just absolutely terrific. The other thing is that literally today, I happen to be wearing the same jacket that I wore on Sunday. And someone asked me if I had a book of matches for them. And I reached into my pocket and pulled up that had been in my pocket since Sunday, that 3.5-inch floppy with the word Ultima on it. And they asked me what the hell I was doing with a 3.5-inch floppy in the pocket of my jacket. And the tears welled up in my eyes because it just made me think about everything that went on over the weekend again. And I said, oh, that's just a trinket from some old friends.
Did you get one of the ones with the underline?
I think I did. Yes, it is underlined. What does that mean?
Yours has data on it. The ones that are not underlined have no data on them.
Very, very cool. Oh, and by the way, would you mind telling me, and I guess everyone else, about the quest that never got completed with the X on the map?
Of course. The X on the map. So, that was the cave, and that was supposed to be unlocked. That was one of those things that just didn't happen. And the cave, there's this mysterious cave, and the cave harkens back to, it kind of ties into a couple other things. You go into this cave, and the walls of the cave were actually going to be lined in gems, but you can't see. There's going to be at least 10 gems in the cave for you to find. There was going to be a severed finger in the cave, so there were supposed to be severed fingers everywhere for you to find. One of the severed finger locations was in the cave. Additionally, there was going to be a severed leg was going to be in the cave. And Dale, Captain Elad, kept wanting to have somebody in the cave yelling and making sounds that people could hear up from Stonegate, but I didn't have a way for people to be at Stonegate to hear that and try to rescue them yet. So I ended up not doing that. But basically, the cave was going just to be a destination, something to explore for the fun of it. But the leg was going to be, and of course, you're not supposed to grab anything unless you think you need it. And so you'd go in there and you'd see that there's a leg, and then you'd go back and you'd be questing and go to the armory and you realize there's a fire sword for sale that costs an arm and a leg. So then you'd go all the way back to the cave and get the leg. And because literally there's a severed leg and a severed arm, and that cost an arm and a leg. So the cave was some reason to do that. And there was just a treasure in there. And what I really, 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 really wanted, but did not have, and this is one of those things, if I had more volunteers or staff, I wanted somebody to be in the cave all dressed in black that attacks you, and scares the living shit out of you. but it was basically just a destination, a scenic overlook. Hey, this is pretty. Hey, there's a cave. Hey, it's full of gems. Hey, there's a severed leg in here. And of course, there was going to be one of the little music generators that played the Ultima 6 dungeon music and all that fun stuff.
I totally missed the part about not taking anything if you didn't need it, because I was the one who found the letter for the Justice quest that I hadn't yet started on the top of one of the ramparts, on a rafter in the ramparts of the fort. But I was so excited about it. I found it, and I was like, oh my god, it's a quest item! And I opened it, and I'm like, Runic! It's a real quest! So, like, I run and I find anybody who can hit it. We ended up with, like, 5 or 6 people trying to translate this thing, and it mostly Earth Dragon translated the entire. We sat down for like, we lost about 40 minutes translating that thing, but we were so excited to find out what the story was. And we had this dramatic reading of it after we were finally done translating it.
Well, if it's any consolation, it took me an entire hour to write it.
Well, good. But it was awesome how many little random things were lying about that were just awesome.
So Heather says that she has 2 favorite moments to share and a disappointment. I'm excited. I want to hear some negative stuff.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. So at the very beginning, my beginning favorite moment was introducing about half of everyone to the Scottish egg. Apparently half of us were not aware of what that is, and I am very proud of myself at introducing a new culinary delight to some of our friends. Those are maybe not the best Scottish eggs you've ever had or you ever will have, but next time you're at a Renaissance festival or some type of event, definitely seek those out. They are awesome. And then after the event was all over and we're all chit-chatting on Facebook, it turns out I am distantly related to someone who was at the event, and I did not know it. So I don't recall her avatar name out at the game, but Nell Byler, the girl in the battle dress with the
Vega.
Okay, with the bow and arrows. It turns out her uncle is married to my aunt, and we did not know this until we started sharing pictures on Facebook and saw friends liking photos. So how cool is that?
Cool. That's awesome.
So I thought that was really exciting. And so my disappointment was, as NPCs in the beginning were giving our gear and our instructions and being told about this drunkenness quest where apparently I assumed every NPC was going to get asked to get drunk. And we can, embellish this as we like. And my embellishment was going to be sitting there in the provisioners right across from the tavern, but if I'm running my shop, I can't just walk over to the tavern and get a drink anytime that I want. So I was like, oh, this is going to be great. So what I'm going to do is if you need to drink for your quest in front of me, you're going to have to go get me one because I kind of can't leave my shop. That's my plan, right? So all day, nobody asks to drink in front of me. Nobody asked to get drunk. And I'm like, what the hell? So finally, after dinner, somebody asked me, I need to get drunk in front of you and have you sign this, or I need to drink in front of you and have you sign this off. I'm like, okay, cool, awesome. So finally, all right, go over there and get me a drink. So they do, get me a drink, bring it back. They drink in front of me. We clink glasses, everything's great. Okay, please sign my book. And there's a line in there for every NPC except for moi. That's why nobody was asking me to drink.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I was an add-in at the end. That's fine. And on that, guys, I wrote in my name and whatnot, but that was the answer to why no one was asking me to get drunk.
Oh, my goodness. You were probably the most excited about that quest, with the exception of the pirate who gave the quest. And, oh, my gosh. Well, we'll have to fix that for next time.
So are you now, Heather, the potentially drunken provisioner?
Yes, please, whenever possible.
Provisionally drunken, I think.
I had a question about the quest, if I can ask. Joseph?
Ask away.
So I got the quest from Shamano and went to YOLO, and there was something about looking both ways when crossing. And I couldn't figure that out.
That's because YOLO is an asshole. That's right, I said it. You were supposed to ask Shamano, who tells you to ask YOLO, who tells you to ask Lube, who tells you to ask the number. It's supposed to go to every single NPC and then back to me. And each NPC is supposed to charge you some coins, a little bit more than the last one, to tell you what they know about it. And of course, then when you get to me, I tell you, oh, I know a little something about branch water. That'll be 1,000 coins. And then I tell you, that's old Cesarian for always look both ways before crossing the street. And I would smile and walk away. And it was just a whole giant troll quest that YOLO decided that he was just going to shortcut despite being told not to do that. So YOLO doesn't get to come to any more events. Just saying.
Bite your tongue.
Sorry, Joe. If you break the rules, you don't get to come again. Or YOLO simply won't be a quest giver next time. How about that?
His music is needed.
We'll just have YOLO run around and do YOLO things, and you can feed him butter.
Have him be the judge, one of the judges for the Bardic competition, Bardic tourney.
But no, I think YOLO just wanted to have pity on people and not send them on this giant wild goose chase. Which, I mean, in all honesty, I legitimately don't appreciate it, since I did, print out and cut and insert, the messages into every single pocket watch, and I wrote in every single NPC's book who to go to next. I mean, I did spend multiple hours putting that quest together, so I legitimately don't appreciate it. But of course, I don't have any hard feelings against YOLO. I'm just wondering why he chose to show compassion on you. Wait, that makes sense.
It is what he was doing.
So yeah, but yeah, so that was the whole idea of that. It was just a giant troll quest, just for you guys to have fun with.
Okay.
But no, YOLO was, aside from shortcutting my quest, was outstanding. Multiple people have talked about how amazing it was to wake up to YOLO playing the lute and singing and telling stories, and YOLO was teaching people how not to suck with the sword and letting people shoot the crossbows and giving people archery advice and just generally giving outstanding sarcastic feedback to everybody in the true YOLO style. So that was much appreciated.
So how are we supposed to find the sunken treasure?
The treasure quest was a good one. That was the most involved side quest. So in general, everybody could do each virtue quest, and everybody could do the troll quest, but some of the side quests were kind of one-offs. And the sunken treasure quest was a fun one. It started out by there's the pirate cabin way off yonder. It's the House of Wares, where the software pirate is making pirated discs. And there's, of course, a parrot. And there's a gavel. And if you've played Ultima 7, you know that if you whack the parrot with a gavel, he tells you where the treasure is by giving you coordinates. So there's the parrot with a little sign that says, I know where the treasure is, and there's a gavel. And the pirate is programmed to give someone a set of coordinates if you whack the parrot with a gavel. So you whack the parrot, you get a set of coordinates. You ask the pirate, what do I do with this? And the pirate says, I don't know, I'm just a pirate. I'm not the captain. I don't know how to make sea charts. Which your clue there, of course, is captain. And you then go talk to Elad, Captain Elad, and say, hey, I've got these coordinates. How do I, what do they mean? And Captain Elad says, well, I can't make sea charts right now because I don't have a sextant. Someone stole my sextant. And if you can get me a sextant, I can make you sea charts. I would inquire at the tavern, but they know it's a small town. They know who I am. Maybe if you ask at the tavern, they might be willing to tell you something about it. And, of course, you go to the tavern, and if you talk to Dr. Cat and say, you could find out about the sextant in one of two ways. You could ask him about the sextant, and he would say, I need a little tip for that, and you have to give him a substantial tip. Just like Ultima 4, you have to give a monster tip to get the sextant. So you have to give him a whole gold piece to get the sextant, or if you ever just randomly tip him a gold piece, he says, "You look like you're made of money. You want to buy a sextant?" And the sextant, of course, is 10,000 coins. So, which is, of course, 10 gems, and or 100 gold. And of course, a sextant always has to be ridiculously expensive as well. So at this point, you have sunk no less than 10,100 coins into this quest. So you get the sextant, and you go back to Captain Elad, and you say, "All right, I got the coordinates, I got the sextant." Captain Elad says, "That's awesome. Give it to me as a reward for bringing this back to me. I will make you see charts. I really want to go see what's there myself, but these are for you, and it's going to take me some time to draw up these sea charts. So in the meantime, you need to get this writ of water travel signed by the marshal. So you take this writ of water travel over to Scotty, Lord Nimrod. He says, "Oh, writ of water travel. Well, I appreciate you taking the lawful approach, so we know who's on the water, so we don't think that you're a pirate. By the way, I can sign this for you, but it's 500 coins. It's 5 gold." And so at this point, you've dropped another 5 gold into this quest. You get your writ signed by the marshal. You take it back to Captain Elad, and Captain Elad says, "All right, I got your charts." And his charts are directions that say, and then you walk all the way down to the docks where the boats are. You get in a canoe, and you are told, go into the creek, turn right, and look for a circular marker that's indicative of another ill-fated ship. Because part of Captain Elad's story is he's captain of the Theodosia Marie, which is a ship that crashed. So he's got the ill-fated ship. And so you're told to look for a circular indicator of another ill-fated ship. So you go out, you turn right, and you go upstream a little bit, and then lo and behold, there's a circular life preserver floating in the water that says Titanic. And you row over to that, and you haul it up. Actually, is that anywhere close? I might be able to show it to you. I have no idea where it is. But you haul up this treasure chest that's about this big, about that big around, and it's all tied up in twine, and it's wrapped in chain so it can sink. And you are encouraged, of course, to bring it back to land before you open it, just in case it goes everywhere. Inside was like 40,000 coins worth of gems. It was just the mother lode of all treasure that you should be rewarded for having to figure out all that crap. And that was by far the most lucrative quest in the game. And so that was really
step
fun.
away. I had the writ of water. We had the writ of water passage. We'd gotten everything else. We just ran out of time to get the goods.
So that was a lot of fun. I liked that one because it's a very ultimate quest.
Yeah, we really need a week for all this. Let's do it again.
Okay, let's do it again. So I was thinking about what I would do next. The joke is I was so tired from the first one that I went to sleep, and my snoring was so loud that it woke the dead. So HoBLotH III is fighting the dead. But I actually do, again, here's the thing. If I don't live in Austin, I can't do this again. There's no way I can top this. Richard lets us use the venue for free. The venue is perfect. The NPCs are here in Austin. There's no other place that I could do this and have it be remotely as involved or as fun, and you get the most bang for the buck as it is in Austin. But there's no guarantee I'm going to be in Austin next year, so I don't know. But if I am in Austin and I do want to do this again, and it does line up that I'm unemployed for the 2 months before to prep for it, all these things line up. I do have an idea for the way that I want to do the next one. And I will tell you this. If it's the same one, it has to be completely new people. If it's the same people, it has to be a different quest. So be prepared. If you come to next year's and it's mostly the same people, your knowledge of last year's event will help you, but it's no guarantee that you're going to be guaranteed victory in the next quest. So, welcome, Cranberry.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Yeah, my computer took like 20 minutes to boot up here. I just got home from work. I had it on my iPad, listening to it in the car, which is, I'm sure, very safe to do, of course. But I didn't want to miss this one. So I wore my Ankh to work today, but nobody said anything. But yeah, I had a really good time this weekend also, and it's good to see a lot of familiar faces now that I really know who everybody is. So yeah, I can't say enough about this weekend, other than yeah, it was pretty good.
That's how I feel. It's all right.
Yeah.
So I need to get going in a minute. I wanted to say a few last things before I took off.
Your pants?
That'll be in a little while when I go to bed. Sorry, I'm not David. Or even Chloe. But yeah, I mean, I'll be amazed if this is toppable. I mean, if nothing else, I would be impressed if the entire suite of NPCs that you got was willing to do it again, having done it the once. I mean, they seem to all have a good time, so maybe, I don't know how many of them had to go more out of the way than others. Some of them I certainly could imagine being like, yeah, that was a blast, let's do it again. But there was also talk on Facebook of trying to do some kind of gathers in other parts of the country at times where you don't have to do all the goddamned work. So I have talked to some people. God knows where I would find the time, but that's not stopping my brain from trying to come up with ideas for, you know, HoBLotH West. Although since I don't know how you feel about the appropriation of the name HoBLotH for that, but I'm thinking of something that would probably be well over a year down the road if it were to possibly happen, but it could be a thing and you could be a player. How would that be?
I would come and stab David.
Yeah, good.
So what I was actually, you know, I think we've talked about this when we were driving together at one point, but another possibility is if I'm not here to have another one, what I could do instead is design it and make it like a franchise where
Right.
I basically build the quest, say, all right, here is your Hob packet, and if you want to have, we're going to have the HoBLotH on, say, November 12th, and it's going, this is the schedule, this is what you do to set up, this is the patterns, this is the things you need to buy, this is what you need, and if you're going to have the event, here's the entire kit to plan it, and, you know, we got one in Chicago, we've got one in you know, California, and basically, and we all have them at the same time. So that's a possibility there. That could be a fun thing to do.
It'd be cool at each one have a station that's all Google hanged out together from place to place, and that'll be like the Circle of Stones Moongate that all of the other locations are.
Of course,
are through.
you know, if we do that, I'm totally going to set it up to where it's like a wishing well, and there's a big ass monitor inside, you know, and there'll be like, you know, clear glass with liquid on top that you can see through, so it totally looks like you're looking through, you know, a thing. Yeah, got to do that.
As an aside, I got an email from Miss Sherry Grainer Ray, and I told her about the wonderful weekend we had, and her reply was, "Nobody told me." So there is potential for having other quest givers at a future event.
Well, there were a few other people that I really wanted to have there. Of course, we all wanted Dupre to be there. There was supposed to be a sign. It was one of those signs that it was in the envelope that was missing. The sign said it was supposed to go under Dupre's ashes, and it helped give you the answer to the honor quest. And it said, the ashes of Sir not appearing at this event, Dupre. And then it said, what did it say? It said, like, he lived his life in honesty and died in courage or something like that. It basically had some little anecdote, but it's definitely, Sir not appearing at this event, Dupre. And of course his urn was full of duckies, as it should be.
It was absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, the one thing that I've been stumbling about the most in trying to think of, for one thing, just to take a step back, how cool is it that for this thing that's, been more or less gone for 15 years, now that this has happened this past weekend, we're thinking that the community might be able to support multiple events about it? That's pretty trippy and cool. One thing that I was thinking about, though, is if I were to try to do something out here, I've got a lot of potential local LARP resources that I could borrow, rent, whatever, so I'm thinking in that direction. The thing that would be weird would be, obviously the actual NPCs would not be likely to be a part of something that wasn't in Austin. Just strikes me as a little weird having somebody else play YOLO when the last time we actually had YOLO.
Someone else to shortcut my quests.
Yeah. But in any case, I'm supposed to be heading off and visiting with some friends, and so I am going to take off. It was lovely to see everyone again, everyone that I had met before and not met before. It was great to hang out with you last weekend. It's great to hang out with you again tonight. And we should do this again soon.
Good. Thanks for coming, Adam. This is to you. Have a good night.
Have a good night, everybody. I'll catch you all later.
See you, Adam.
So one of the other people that, of course, we wanted YOLO or Dupre there. I had actually reached out to Michelle Cadell, who's Mariah, and I reached out to her on Facebook. And apparently, Mariah is a badass. She has a full suit of plate mail armor and does jousting and is just. She would have kicked all of our asses apparently. I messaged her and said, "Would you like to come?" And she replied on Facebook several weeks later, "Yes, that sounds great. Send me information." And I replied and sent her information and never heard from her again. One of the other people that I reached out to and got a response from was Warren Spector. So there was Warren Spector almost came. And there were some other people that were almost there, but not quite. So that was awesome. So there's definitely a possibility for a different cast next time, if all goes well. And speaking of next time, something that excited me, I'm kind of self-conscious about this. I don't want, I approached all these NPCs very, very timidly. Hey, can you come to this thing? I'll feed you. I'll give you beer. And I was very, very shy about it. And most people were like, "Yeah, that sounds like fun." And even then, I feel like I worry I'm bothering people. And Star multiple times in the office and Richard multiple times were like, "So for the next one, so next time you do this, you need to." So definitely people had fun. So I think that. That if we ever do this again, we might have some willing participants, and that makes me very happy.
Wait, so you're saying that after the event, sometime this week between Monday and right now, the words "next time" came up?
Yes. They when Star and I were talking about how to make serpent venom better, he's like, well, you need to do that for next time. And Richard, is always talking about, Richard multiple times said, next time. So, yeah, who knows?
Will you excuse me for just a moment, please?
Sure. I could watch that all day.
While you're watching that, I'd actually like to slightly derail this conversation and do a congratulations to you. It wasn't done earlier, but you have a really cool medal on your chest. Do you want to tell everybody what happened if they don't know?
Violation cut my nipple off with a serpent venom dagger, and I needed to get a prosthetic nipple, but I didn't want to leave the event. So I just took one of the metal coins and just burned it. Oh, you mean this? Okay, you weren't talking about my iron nipples. So yeah, this is the Order of New Britannia Empire, and what was really fun about this was, actually, you guys can see over there in the corner is the Hearth of Britannia cabinet. This is the last time you will see the Hearth of Britannia cabinet at a Dragonsmeet, as it is officially been sold to Lord British himself. There's a little tiny message inside that I wrote in silver Sharpie that says Hearth of Britannia Cabinet of Virtue, and then I signed it. And that's actually going to be delivered to Lord British tomorrow morning. So that's exciting. But inside, I'd snuck into the office and stolen one of these medals from the box and hidden it in there along with everybody's onks as their request reward. And unbeknownst to me, Lord British had snuck in there and put one in there as well. And he had put one in there for me. I put one in there, of course, for Joe Garrity, because Joe Garrity had been awarded the ONBE and has been wearing this cheesy little printout of one because he didn't have his medal yet. Oh, it looks like he's got it. And it's gigantic. And there it is. So I stuck that in there because I wanted to make sure that Joe Garrity got a chance to get it. Of course, and Joe also had to leave early on Sunday. So I open up the cabinet to reveal the treasure box with all the onks in it, and the ONBE is sitting there, and Richard just snatches it, and I go, no, Richard, I know that's for somebody else. He's like, oh, okay, and he looks really confused for a second, and I honestly thought he was like maybe a little mad that I had taken one to give to Joe. Like, what is this doing here? I thought he just wanted to get it out of sight because it was a soda thing instead of an Ultima thing. My brain's trying to make sense of it. So, Joe comes up on stage and Joe receives his medal, and then Lord British explains that he had put one in there, which is why he stole it, and then he presented one to me, which was awesome because the Order of New Britannia Empire is for people, the Royal Warrant is for organizations. And while the Hearth of Britannia, in terms of organization, has always just been me. Like, the Hearth of Britannia is me. Of course, it's everybody. It's all of you guys. It's all of the legends, the heroes, and the champions of the Hearth, and it's all the Hearth of Britannia Dragonsmeet attendees. But at its core, that's me. And so, I received a Royal Warrant, and I was totally happy to stand behind my Royal Warrant, to stand behind Hearth of Britannia, and I never expected an ONBE, and Richard presented me with one after the event for my contribution to the community, and it was unexpected. It was super awesome, and I was totally overcome with emotion, and I think I soiled myself a little bit, but that happens. So now I wear it like all the time. It's like I don't take it off. I sleep in it.
I wore mine around all over the place for a while, and yeah, I brought it, but I didn't wear it because I felt like it was a soda thing too, and so I didn't wear it there. And anyway, welcome, and You are so very deserving, and I'm really happy I got to be there to witness you getting it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Of course, the funny thing is that I now have 2 royal warrants. I had actually taken my plaque a while back when we were doing all the painting of them on live stream. I took one that wasn't painted because I wanted to paint mine with oil glazes instead of acrylic paint. I wanted to make it all fancy, and so I actually have one upstairs already, and now I have another. So I'm going to, of course, honestly take that back and put it back in the box, or sell it on eBay. No, I'm kidding. So I'll be returning that. But now I'm torn, right? Do I keep the one that Richard gave me, or do I make this really fancy one? So I'm very torn right now. So I'm going to hold on to the one that he gave me just for a little bit longer because it's kind of cool, and then I'll return it.
I just want to throw something out there. Royal Warrants for an organization, and you guys just had conversations about possibly making this a larger enterprise. So I would say honestly inform him that you have 2, and honestly inform him about the potential growth, and maybe there's justification in you keeping more than one. So at future events, you can have one that stays at your house always and one that travels to other events. So, I mean, a Royal Warrant's an organization award, and I know some organizations are supposed to get more than one, so there you go. There's an honest way that you get to keep both.
Well, the question is deciding who gets to be on the ruling council for the Hearth of Britannia, because you all are holders of this Royal Warrant, being Hearth of Britannia members. But the question is deciding who gets to actually have one. That's the question.
So you'll mail it to me. I'll keep it for a month. Then I'll mail it to Joseph Drays, and he'll keep it for a month.
Excellent. Just don't FedEx it. They'll charge you an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
And nobody can find out.
I think we might actually be able to pay that fee.
You know, why not? I wonder if we might roll one around and have everybody sign it. That would be really fun. I would be okay with that.
Oh, speaking of which,
You might have to do it a little quicker than once a month. It'll take quite a while to get around.
Oh, I'll get around.
somebody gave me this suggestion that I thought was really, really nice, Joseph. What if everybody holding the flag at the end was to be blown up into a poster with everybody's signature on it so that it could be presented to Richard to put in the theater like the other events that were held.
That's a great idea. My only problem with that is, actually, you know what? I can solve that problem. I would simply have everybody sign and scan and send it to me, and I would just composite it digitally. I can totally do that.
I was thinking.
All you got to do is sign with a nice thick Sharpie because a pen is a little too dinky. Sign with a Sharpie on white paper, cell phone, even a cell phone pic. I can work with that. But the key is white paper and Sharpie, not nothing thinner than that. Because I've done some compositing of signatures before digitally. I'd totally be down with that. That sounds like a lot of fun. I would even pay for it.
Woohoo!
Oh, so Joe, while I have you here, I visited with Dr. Cat this week, and I got to see Dr. Cat's house, which is cool. It's like a freaking maze. It's so labyrinthine. I actually slept in one of the closets, which had been converted to a bedroom, which was also half closet. It was really weird. I slept in the bedroom closet.
I thought he lived in California.
Well, he does, but he has a house here as well.
Oh.
So I got to visit Dr. Cat and talk about stories all night, which was really fun. But Dr. Cat gave me a box of shit to give to you, and I would like to show you this box of shit. So one of the things that he gave me is this, because I know you totally want this.
Treasures from the Hearth of Britannia.
Yeah, this is something. This is a light that goes on the top of a slot machine, and I mean, in all honesty, why he thought you would want this, I'm not quite sure. But he gave me this to give to you because, you know, Dr. Cat programs all these slot machine games now. So this is going to make way to the Origin Museum.
Very cool!
Additionally, he gave me this bright orange floppy disk that says Multimedia Games EVG Oklahoma Help 2.bmp no bug fix. I have no idea what this is or what's on it. There it goes. Oh, come on, stop being a jerk. Auto light adjusting thing. But yeah, this thing is going to make its way to you. Now, here's the question. Say what?
Does he know what's on it?
I don't believe so.
Because we discussed that. He was talking to me about basically saying it's like an archaeological dig, and I got all excited and went, yeah. He wanted me to go with him to his house, and I had to, as politely as I could, decline because I wanted to see Neon Milk.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this. I know you can read floppy disks, but do you have a zip drive?
Yes, I do.
Good, because you're also getting this zip disk from Dr. Cat that says Lost Jewels, Lightning 7's BMP Elements. Again, I think this is slot machine stuff.
But BMP elements mean they're bitmaps, I would imagine.
I would agree. So this is for you. I licked it, so it's had the Hearth of Britannia blessing. And you get this entire stack. Oh, he's also letting me borrow Flatland because he was appalled that I'd never read it. I'm appalled that I've never read it too. I have a list of books to read that's
we're all appalled.
It's very, very long. But he gave me an entire stack of these Furcadia handouts. So Furcadia, let your imagination soar, make, et cetera, et cetera. He gave me a whole stack of these to give to you. A couple different art styles too. This one's a little different. And there's a whole stack. And I know that one of my favorite things about the Origin Museum is when you pull out entire stacks of things and you're like, I have hundreds of these. I don't know what I'll ever do with them. Rawr. So now you have a whole stack of these Furcadia handouts.
Awesome.
And additionally, you have this entire phone book quality stack of more Furcadia handouts. Imagine a place with 4,000 other furs.
So cool.
So I'm not quite sure why he gave me this to give to you, but I'm giving it to you because I'm downsizing.
He knows about Origin Museum, and he was very excited to be a part of it, and I thought that was really, really cool of him.
It was amusing watching, because I was there when Joe and Dr. Cat were talking about going back to his place to pick up stuff, and it was amusing watching Joe struggle with the fact that he wanted to be in two places at once. I was honestly expecting him to buy a Furcade and run off with two little Joe Garrity's.
I would have paid to see that.
I was very, very torn because Space Bards, I was looking forward to that. And he's going, well, why don't you drive me back to my house? We'll go hang out for a while. And I went, but I no disrespect, sir. I was very torn.
So I don't think, I'm going to ask before I do this, but Joe, I don't think you have any objection if I take one copy of each of those many pieces of paper and toss it into Cranberry's completion certificate envelope.
Brilliant.
Okay, yeah, it's not hurting anything, right? It's just marginally more effort.
Well, if Cran doesn't want you to, she looks.
Yeah, I don't have to.
I wouldn't want to be a burden on you. I couldn't ask for that.
I don't.
Of course.
If you don't want the extra spam in your envelope.
Yeah, it's too much stuff. I don't like stuff or anything. I think Amber has something to say about that because she just jumped up on the desk right.
Will somebody get this walking carpet out of my way?
Yeah.
So Isabel, we have not heard from you.
I'm sorry, I'm being quiet.
That's okay. You look cute in your pug pajamas.
Thank you. Reminds me of you guys. I wear it all the time.
I don't quite understand how the pug pajamas remind you of us. Can you share that?
Yeah. I bought it at Walmart at 3 in the morning, and you can't do that around here. And that was the first thing I did when I got there. So good memories.
Okay, now it makes sense.
I'm sorry, what?
I said that makes sense.
Yes.
I hear that you miss your jail.
I do miss my jail very much.
That cracked me up today.
I missed waking up in it and hearing YOLO. That was awesome. It was a peaceful way to wake up.
Now, which jail were you in? Were you in the cage with Kristoff?
I did sleep my first night with. It was quite creepy actually. I slept with a skeleton all night. Well, I didn't sleep much that night, but still, it was fun. And my second night was with Adam on the top bunk. I didn't even ask you. Oh, he's not there anymore, eh? Did he sleep well on the second night?
I have no idea. I would assume so, since the jail was, fully furnished with many blankets.
After all that fighting, he slept just fine.
Uh-oh.
I think I saw like 4 pillows the next morning on his bed.
Oh boy, Heather posted a picture of Joe Garrity at the UXO event.
I love that hair.
Can you screen share that violation?
It's coming up.
That is me and my lovely bride.
Nice.
I can even zoom that in there a little bit, make it easier to see. How's that?
That's my wife, Paula.
Oh, put your mouse over that again, violation. Put your mouse over Joe's face. Click that yes. There you go.
I'm not a big Facebooker, sorry.
It's nice also to finally see your lovely wife, Joe. We always hear so much about her. It's nice to finally catch a glimpse of the woman that makes you so happy.
It's incredibly cool. And it's so neat that Heather actually has that. That was a decade ago.
So basically the moral of the story is Heather's related to everyone? Is that what's going on here?
Mother to all.
In some form or another.
Whoops.
Excellent, excellent. So how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I know David Peters is trying to get in. If anybody wants to volunteer to let Beard Commander pop in, I know he really wants to get in and scream Serpent Venom.
I'll drop out. I had already offered.
I got to drop anyway. I got to drop anyway. I'm on my way out. I got to go to work early.
Have a good night, Joe. Thanks for stopping in.
Thank you for everything. A toast to the heroes of the hearth. Wonderful. Thanks, everybody.
Good night, Sir
Good night,
Patrick.
Joe.
Bye.
Night, Joe.
All right, let's see if Beard Commander can get in here before someone snipes his spot.
Hey.
There he is. Yay. Hey, David, I have something for you. Look what I got for you, David.
Yay! How much?
About Tree Fitty.
Tree Fitty?
Tree Fitty.
Tree Fitty. I've been trying to watch. I'm pretty sure I'll piss Adam off, but I was actually trying to watch the stream on my phone while I was driving, just watching it like that, like shit. So.
Challenge
you to a duel. Yes, challenge you to a duel. I'll challenge you to a duel. I'll challenge you to a duel.
I remember when David challenged me to a duel. That didn't end too well.
Yeah, you just you didn't even went ahead and got ready. You're like, yeah, I gotta start stab, and I'm like, dude.
I asked if you were ready.
I said I was still unsheathing my sword.
I said, "Are you ready?" You said yes. I killed you.
I meant ready, and it's like, yeah, we'll go ahead and get. No, that was embarrassing. I had a freaking 13 kill streak.
And then you were deemed you could never win the Virtue of Honor.
Well, I learned from the best.
Well, you can you can lose an eighth and still win.
No, as I said, and
game it eventually.
As I said to Star, honors for the dead, and that's his new quote. So it was good.
There's a chance. Nice shirt there, David. Is that your work shirt?
It was my Institute of Transportation Engineer Traffic Bowl shirt that I wear to work.
I see.
Yes.
So, David, what was your favorite part of the event?
Oh, Christ. It would have to be the battlegrounds, obviously. I did like dueling. I do love when Joseph Jayson came up to me and he presented me this. I cried a little bit inside.
Hold it steady.
Sorry.
Is that you?
Apparently it's me.
What is the... So there's always a reason why people are holding things in Joseph's minifigs. What is the paper?
Me getting pissed off reading the forums. So it's perfect.
That's outstanding.
I love it.
In that miniature capture.
It was like me with the sword because I like to fight shit, and he gave me this the piece of valor off of his little contraption that he made. So that was awfully sweet of you, Joseph.
You are most welcome, and
Yes.
great work, and more than deserving of it.
I love this.
That was a pretty swanky mug holder you had there, Jayson.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it was your idea. I said when I was introduced it was from a very wise man.
I think it came out so much better than I ever could have imagined. You know, the little sketch that I made of it was crap. You made it so cool.
Thank you very much. It was I had fun with that and got a lot of nice feedback on it. And it was cool that I had gems that I was able to give out to a couple people. I wish I had had more. Unfortunately, a couple I wanted to give out to people had already left. But
So does anybody want to show off their cloth map? We haven't even seen one yet. Make everybody watching jealous.
oh, I got mine right here.
There we go.
Well, it's got
Upside down.
Britannia on one side and the village of Cove.
Show the other side, David. I got it focused on you. There we go. Scott Jones, of course. And of course, the reason why Scott Jones signed people's maps is the runic there. Can you raise your map a wee bit, David? And pull it back just a wee bit so it'll focus? Thank you very much. Cartography by Lord Nimrod and Vitralis the Blue. I'm, of course, Vitralis, and Lord Nimrod is Scott Jones. Scott Jones was the art director and concept artist for Ultima 9. So if you have the Ultima 9 strategy guide, all those kick-ass drawings in it, those are Scott Jones. He was also the person in charge of the Justice Quest at the event. And so that's why Scott Jones signed the map, because Scott Jones lent me a bunch of his assets, and I took his assets and appropriated them, and we put that map together on the back. So that was totally a collaboration between the two of us. And I mean, that's fucking awesome, right? Like, I have my name on an artwork with Scott Jones. I'm just like, that's so cool, and that makes me happy. Yes, I said assets.
It was actually really cool. My son was asking me all about it, and I was able to kind of walk through the map of Cove and talk about each of the buildings and some of the quests. He thought it was really cool.
Oh, so Violation is showing something else off here. Talk about it, Violation. What do you got there?
Which piece? The first or the second?
It's up to you. You're the one showing off.
Well, I'm going to go to the second then, because this is the one that I absolutely loved. I actually have it saved on the Hug page. So one of the really cool things about this is I don't have the best memory in the world. I have a hard time remembering things. So I went out and I bought cloth journals for this. And when you gave this to us, I thought, well, I'm going to use this one because I want it to be the one from here. But I actually had brought some with, and I wanted to be able to notate things. And you actually provided this. So the people that you go through and do quests with, earlier in the Hangout, we talked about the Hug quest. These are the 5 people I hugged to complete my quest. They signed my book. So in 15 years, when my memory fails me, which it always seems to, I'll be able to go through this book and look at different things and know what's going on. And these are the quests that he made it to where we didn't have to write anything in the books. He just gave us stickers, and we stuck them in the books. And these are the quests I was able to get done. And there was so much I tried to do. I did not have time. I am amazed at the people who got, what was it, 14 of them done?
That was 13.
That is insane.
Yeah.
I tried so hard the whole time. But this book was given to everyone. It's awesome, and it's a way that we were able to capture our memories on paper, on cloth, excuse me. And yeah, so that's one of the cool things that I brought back.
And the other thing?
Oh, the other thing, our coin bag. This is where we kept all of our gems, our wonderful coveted gems that were worth 1,000 coins, 1,000 copper, and then we had our silver and our gold pieces in here. Which, who was it that helped you with those? Was that Sir Frank?
So Ben Pritchard Rild, the man with the beautiful beard, he helped me get the maps because I didn't have the proper retail merchant subscription extortion thing to get that. I didn't have an ASIN, so he helped me with the maps. The cloth, the bags, most other stuff I'm able to get on my own because I have an LLC. I don't need the retail merchants thingy to get it. Just having an employee identification number is enough. So I was able to get the bags and the onks and all that stuff myself.
Was it clear? Could you see what it has on there?
Oh, very clear.
Okay, good.
So what's that thing hanging behind you that looks like a green screen?
I have two, and I'm so proud of both of these because a small story. When I was in Britannia, honesty was how I played. And when you started off the bidding, you said, who holds honesty above anything else? And I thought to myself for a moment, well, I do. And then you said, you will want what this is. So I thought, well, he's never led me astray, so let's go. And then I won this, and this is just amazing. And these were all hanging at the shrine where we went to for the virtues, and I hope that everybody gets to see those pictures because it was just awesome. So honesty, and then the balances. You can actually see. I'm not on my correct account right now. This is my personal account. I have a gaming account, but in New Britannia, the main virtue that I'm living with is going to be justice, and I actually have justice is what my coat of arms is based on. So essentially, yeah, that's the story. And this was actually, I did not win, and Tech Fistenbeer won it, and I bought it off him for less than he paid for it in in-game currency, and I was very, very happy that shortly after that somebody else gave him extra coins. He said he wasn't going to keep it; he was going to give it to his daughter. So he was okay with sending it my way because he knew that I wanted it so badly. And yeah, my wife won't let me put it above our bed, but I might do it anyway.
Joseph. So I'd like to point out that artwork on there is actually David Peters.
I was about to say, it's like, is that my... Okay.
It is.
Yeah.
All of those except honesty, I used the artwork that you had made for our virtue cards.
I can't draw hands.
Yeah, I just made one too, and it sucked. So I was like, it's good enough.
Oh, I was quite jealous of the honesty one because I had actually on my tunic, I had embroidered the honesty hand, and that was painful. I ended up failing like multiple times, and then a friend of mine did it for me because she was better at embroidering than I was.
So David, go ahead, Jayson.
No, I was saying that for anyone who doesn't know, the spirituality was very important to me, like my garb, obviously. And having this, my wife has already figured out a way to, without damaging it, make it into a tapestry in my office that I have a little window ledge that all my Ultima artifacts are on, that this will be covering them, and then can move it aside. So I have now my own little hidden cove.
Excellent. So I have a question. Did anybody here expect those to be given away?
No. No, it never even crossed my mind that it was possible.
Good. Of course, now if I do this again next year, people are going to be thinking, "Oh, I'm going to get everything." So that'll be an interesting expectation to manage.
When you gave away like the giant cloth map and the serpent tapestry, I was like, "Holy crap!"
Well, like I said, you guys loaned me $200 each. It wasn't, I just gave it all back.
I feel I got a lot more than $200 back.
He gave us these swanky pocket watches.
With the quest inside.
Yes, with the quest inside.
When I saw like Cran had spread out all her loot, I was like, "Holy shit!"
It's upside down, David.
Oh shit! I can't read it.
Yeah, it
There you
was an unbelievable amount of stuff. And I know that there was even more to get that I didn't get, but I'm really, 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 really happy with what I did get. I couldn't have asked for even half that amount of stuff. I had no idea of just the quality of the items we were getting. I mean, I figured we'd probably get some trinket or souvenir because that's an ultimate thing, but I really, really had no idea.
Richard actually signed my pocket watch.
Nice.
Since I
And
actually
yet, David, I ended up with this.
Yeah, it's like you dug that out of the trash. I'm like, I threw that away.
Trash! I couldn't let it go to waste.
You threw that thing away?
Look at the bottom. Look at the bottom. It wouldn't function. Look at the
The
bottom.
wires are all hanging out, so it doesn't work, but it's still really cool.
Pretty.
On my shelf.
It looks awesome.
Well, I mean, like that was like in my like the ceremony went a lot longer than I expected. I was supposed to have left about 45 minutes prior, so I didn't want to stop the ceremony until we all had our fill and it finished. Then I had to like sprint the heck out of there, and the only thing that could pop in my mind is like lantern. I can't fit in. Throw away. So
you could have like given it to somebody for a gem.
I didn't have time. I like literally bolted out of there.
So I have one last question, and then we have to start doing closing toasts. Raise your hand if you grabbed David's ass.
I think David probably grabbed his own ass.
I didn't even do the quest.
All right, so wait, only one person here grabbed David's ass?
Did not grab David's ass.
What?
And it was only in passing.
I grabbed Garrity's ass.
Oh, well, so did I, but... Wow, only one person here. Man.
In here.
I wrote
I
you
thought I saw two hands. I thought I saw, was it Indi? Indi, did you raise your hand? Okay, yeah, and then Miracle.
Wow. So I write grabbing David's ass into the game, and only two people here.
Well, come on. Most of the people here were two quests, not the other one.
Say that again?
Okay, sorry. I said most of the people here were focusing on the virtue quests, not the others.
Hey, those are still virtues.
Yeah.
David's ass is a virtue.
Apparently. Who here enjoyed the dance? Damn right.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I had seen that. I wish I had been there, but I think we were like inside one of the cabins getting close to somebody at the time, so I didn't even get to see it happen. And that was one thing that Fiona was really looking forward to.
Yeah, I was going to say, poor Will had to carry heavy buckets of water while we were doing it.
Golden
way
Flame
too
has
amused
some
from
dancing
that.
skills.
If it's any
Yeah.
consolation, Cranberry, I missed the dance entirely because I was setting things up.
Well, I'm looking
Oh,
for
that's a bummer.
at least, but it sounds like it was fun, and I saw the whole thing braided up later. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, I knew when it was happening, but I didn't know what time it was because, yeah, we didn't even get so far as getting.
There was so much to do.
Yeah, there was way too much to do. There was like, we could have spent like 3 days doing questing, and still not everybody would have.
It's like what was it, like right after the dueling, we had the actual battlegrounds thing. Joseph was like, "Get the hell ready!" I'm like, I can't even do a quest. running around.
Well, I had to I had to hurry everybody up for the big battle. We were losing daylight.
Yeah, and it ended perfectly. Like as soon as it ended, pitch black. It was weird, but yeah, it's like you had to do it, but it's like there's so much stuff to do. I need to come back again. This is not enough.
Well, hey, everybody is welcome to come over, and we will finish the quest together. We'll go down to Castleton, and we will finish the quest together, just us.
Be careful what you say.
We'll all show up tomorrow morning.
As long as there's not an event at Castleton, and as long as I still live here, we'll go do it. I'm fine with that.
I didn't finish the sensuality quest, so I look forward to that.
And Miracle Dragon didn't finish the sensuality quest either.
Uh-oh.
This is terrible.
Wasn't the word voyeur uttered earlier?
There were quite a few quests that I basically finished, just didn't get signatures for.
So I like one of these days, like I want to visit. Like I want to like get a total fake UPS or FedEx, uniform. Knock on David's door with a package. Have the thing, and I'm like, just show up, grab David's ass, and be like, "Can you sign for that?"
Why?
You'd like it.
Before
I don't know.
closing ceremonies, can we mention what first world event happened there?
Of course, we can talk about that right now.
Do you want to say it, or do you want me to?
Go for it.
So, the attendees of the HoBLotH were privileged enough to witness the first full concert, the full set of Neon Milk by none other than Recap / Spacebards. So that was awesome. Not only that, but we also got to watch them perform live on stage with Lord British. So two firsts there, an amazing concert that some more than one does not remember because of how excellent the Neon Milk tasted and how much there was.
You want to know something awesome about that Neon Milk? That was half the Neon Milk. That was 2 gallons of Neon Milk. I actually had 4 gallons of Neon Milk. It was inside that never got made.
For the sake of all the attendees, I'm glad you didn't bring 4 gallons.
Well, it's funny. I don't know if they said it, but Dom was saying like they were about to invite Richard up, but like before they said it, they realized he was already up there.
That man has like the energy of like an 18-year-old.
Fucking ridiculous.
I don't know what the hell he was doing.
Watching
He's a big
Richard
fan,
dance,
too,
that was awesome. That's when I knew that he was having a good time.
Oh yeah.
That made me very happy.
He was like decked out in glow sticks. He was like, oh yeah, and his Dallas is doing his Elvis thing. I'm like, he's the best dancer here.
Mm-hmm. He looked like he was having a blast.
All right. So, does anybody have any final thoughts before we do closing toasts?
I said what was in the Neon Milk.
That would be milk, vanilla vodka, Irish cream, and creme de menthe.
My final thought is that I love Rustic Dragon.
Oh. Love is a virtue, according to the track on the Origin soundtrack. Love, comma, a virtue. And I always thought, wait, what?
It's a principle.
Oh, that it's not equal parts. I'm actually mailing everybody the recipe for Neon Milk as a sticker. It's supposed to be available in the spaceship, and it didn't get put out, and I finally found them. But I have inserts for the recipe for Neon Milk that'll be going out with your completion certificates. And
I went to that spaceship expecting something. I was sad when
sorry,
nothing was there.
it was supposed to have the Kilrod stuff, a Lego spaceship, and then the Neon Milk recipes.
Because I typed it to him.
So Isabel has a question. Everybody stop talking.
Oh, don't say that. I was wondering where Necropolis was because I wasn't there on Friday and I saw a lot of pictures. But where was that? Was it near the site?
Sure. So remember when we took the group quest up the hill to Stonegate?
Right.
There?
I'm at 5 or 6 times farther.
Girl, guy, girl. She's a girl. He's talking to her.
Hi, Heather.
So Necropolis is at the total top of the hill. You know where the black gates were that you went through to get to Richard's property?
Right.
They're right next to the black gates. That's where the end of Necropolis is. So all the way up at the top of the hill.
Cool.
So it was milk, vanilla vodka, Irish cream, and creme de menthe. It was the creme de menthe that was like, whoa.
Okay, here, just hold on a second. Let me help you out here. All right, so this is what everybody's going to be receiving with their completion certificate. Of course, it's a sticker, and it is the same graphics that were with the Kickstarter backers for Neon Milk. So it's the top secret graphics provided by the Space Bards. 1 ounce of vanilla vodka, 3/4 of an ounce of Irish cream, 1/4 of an ounce of creme de menthe, and 2 ounces of milk. So a gallon of milk, a 750 of vanilla vodka. Is that two? And you go from there. Basically, it's entire bottles of liquor and milk. And at one point, I just kind of fudged it and made it close enough. And Dom and Dan didn't seem to object.
Tastes
But,
good.
yeah, 128 ounces in a gallon of milk, 25 ounces in a 750 of liquor. So there's your math right there. All right. Any last questions? All right. Well, in traditional Hearth of Britannia style, we're going to have our closing toasts. We're going to start on the far right this time because we normally start on the far left. Seth, would you like to start us off?
Certainly. I am thankful that I have signed proof that I got to hug Lord Blackthorn.
I will drink to that. Actually, I need more drink. I'm going to get more drink. Pardon me.
I hug Lord Blackthorn
How good is he at hugging?
Right. So actually, I want to do a quick shout out to Ben Pritchard. Ben Pritchard is Rill, the gentleman with the giant beard. He has a friend who makes these wonderful, Lord British symbols, signs here that I believe he's eventually going to start selling. What I really, really love about these glasses is you see me vigorously pouring this Guinness into this glass, and it's perfect. It holds 1 Guinness can perfectly. So my hat's off to the person who made these mugs. You knew exactly the size to make them. Okay, so drinking to hugging star. All right, Miracle Dragon, let's hear from you.
All right. I removed the other mic I was using because I don't think it was working well. But I just want to say it was wonderful to meet everyone in person. I think everyone was exceptional, and I'm really glad to have met them. So I look forward to another event. Cheers.
Excellent. To another event. You know, every time I have an event, I'm like, God, I'm never doing this again. And then I'm like, I have an idea for an event. I don't think you guys will let me get away with not having another event. All right. Unseen, it's time to be heard.
Well, I think I kind of said everything. Just thanks to obviously again to you, Joseph. I had an absolutely amazing time, and everyone was just meeting everyone, seeing people I'd known, seeing them again, and just I've been still on a massive high since this weekend, and I'm enjoying it, and I hope it lasts for a long, long time. So, to everyone.
To coming down slowly.
And for lots of liquor spilling in my luggage, and now it smells like rum.
I had that problem with blood moss.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that Nightshade is growing where we emptied those kegs Sunday. Violation, it's you.
To sacrifices that Rustic Dragon has made for all of us to enjoy the most amazing weekend of possibly some of our lives. This is second to getting married and my kids. This is the best memories I'll ever make. So thank you for your sacrifices, Rustic.
I was in my element. Isabel?
Well, I really agree with what Violation just said. Very, very close to my family, my husband, my kids. It was the weekend of my life, and I guess I would toast to my new sanctuary.
To your jail.
To my jail. My glass is empty, but I'm toasting its spirit.
That's fine. Indy, is William there?
Yep, we're both here. He got home from work.
Quick interjection toast to hiding the arm so no one could find it.
I apologize.
Never ask a geocacher to hide anything.
I don't think I said hide. I think I said put.
You did. That was 100% my fault.
That's okay. Not finding the arm was pretty innocuous compared to some of the other gaffes, but everybody had a problem. So it's to you, Indy.
I had an incredible weekend. Really could not have been better. It was awesome. I look very much forward to meeting all of you again in person. That was probably the best part of the weekend, was being able to spend time with so many really great people.
Oh, and yes, thank you for an immaculate weekend and letting me fulfill a lifelong dream I never knew I had, which was to moon Lord British and all his forces at the end of the battle.
I missed this.
How could you miss it? Oh, you're on the wrong side.
The mooning. Why didn't I do this?
Well, I remember I had to kill him, and then that was all she wrote.
We'll all be damned. All right. Heather, you are now officially a Hearth of Britannia veteran. I think you understand how this works. So let's hear your closing toast.
Aw, dang. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. All right, I have it. To old friends, to new friends, to family I never knew I had, and that means you and every which one of you.
Excellent. To family. You know, this is the first Dragonsmeet with closing toasts where I've actually had alcohol in a long time. Like the last 5 or 6 of them, I've just been faking it because I didn't feel like having a beer. It's nice having a goddamn beer with you guys again. Seriously, like, it's nice to actually not be so pressed for time that if I drink a beer, I'm going to not be able to work after. It's nice that I can drink this beer and go to bed because I'm not so goddamn busy. So that's really nice. I just want to throw that in there. David, we're going to skip you. No, I'm kidding. David, it's to you.
To everybody not being a D-bag when it came to fighting or dueling. Everybody was actually honest, took the hits, and when you made a mistake, everybody took it. Everybody was actually genuinely kind to each other, didn't want to hurt one another, and when an accident did occur, yeah, violation. And yeah, just everybody was genuinely like concerned with each other, and if an accident ever occurred, as you said or as you wanted, they would drop everything and say, "Oh my God, are you okay?" To everybody actually being compassionate.
I agree with that. Two good people. I want to follow that up really quickly. A lot of times people say to me, when they meet my friends, they say, "Wow, your friends are really nice." And I'm like, "Your friends aren't?" I like a lot of people hang out with asswipes. I don't get it. I don't know why you let shitty people be in your life. I don't see the point of that. I try to make a point of making my friends people that I want to hang around with, people that bring me up. And that's why I handpick people for events. I want to try to make sure that everyone is safe, that everyone can leave $1,000 in their car, that everybody can be around people that's not going to screw with them. And why would I have an event any different than the way that I want to live my life? So everyone's always so surprised. Everyone was so nice. I'm like, well, if you're surprised that everyone was so nice, maybe I want to challenge you to look at your own life and think, if I'm surprised that people are nice, what can I do in my own life to make it not such a surprise that I'm around nice people? Maybe there's some people you need to have a good conversation with. But lastly, Cranberry, the person who by far took the dragon share of the loot, it's to you.
Kind of in shock about that, and yeah, I told my friends at work about that today, and they're like, "Wow, this is a really cool thing," but I don't even know what to do with this. Should I hang it on the wall? I don't want it to wear out, but I mean that thing was absolutely beautiful, and I'm really honored that I was one that was selected to get it. I didn't even know it existed, and then I see this thing being unfolded on the stage, and like, what is that? But my boss at work is one who hasn't played the Ultimates, but he's watched all the Spoonies on them. So when I told him, that we were starting to say your knowledge of the land shall be great, like he instantly knew what that meant and where it came from. So yeah, that was really kind of cool. So yeah, I was lying under it all day yesterday because it was cold in the house anyway. But so yeah, I guess I should toast the thing. But yeah, there's so many thoughts still whirling around in my head. It's hard to get everything straight with all that I want to say because everything was so amazing and awesome and remarkable. But pretty much to new friends and old, to communities really coming together over a shared passion, to finding common ground and finding instant friends and people who care about you. And I think a lot of us told the story that we felt we were alone. But we're like, okay, this is a cool game, and it really makes you think more than most other games out there. Virtues, not everybody gets that out of the games, and this is really something profound. But am I crazy? Am I the only one who's heard of this? Who really liked it? But then we suddenly find there's this entire community, and it grew by bits and pieces over the years, and suddenly there's this enormous extended family, and we all have this shared passion, and we can all bond over it, and then we can grow it into something that's even bigger than the sum of its parts. And I think that's really what this weekend was. It was put together from so many little pieces, and was put all the pieces together, but the biggest part was all people coming together and being civil toward each other and really just working to help each other have a good time. And we're going to continue this being the family for a really long time, I think. So here's to everyone who was there, everyone who participated, everyone who supported everything, and our friends back home who are going to have to put up with us babbling about this for like the next few months. So pretty much to everyone. So that's my toast.
Oh, I love juice. You want juice?
Yay. So before I make my toast, cranberry was coming out. Was clear through everyone else?
She was choppy a little.
You're choppy.
Your mom's choppy.
No, actually, Joseph is a little choppy too.
Yeah,
Great.
Joseph.
Looks like I'm having problems again. 1 second. All right, I should not be having internet problems on my end, so I blame Google. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, because I don't want to talk if you're not going to hear it. So this is something that I said during my closing toast at the event, and I want to say this to everybody out there who's been to the Hearth of Britannia via Dragonsmeets, who came to last year's event that didn't come to this year's event, because this applies to you too, and everybody who was not able to make this year's event, who wanted to, and everybody, of course, who came to this event. I hand-selected the people to both last year's and this year's event, and it's very, very important that you understand that, as we've said repeatedly, everybody who's come to these events is a quality person, and everybody who came to this event was themselves. You didn't come pretending to be someone else. I mean, you pretended to be your character, you pretended to be the avatar, but the avatar is yourself. You came decked out in your armor that you've always wanted to wear. You came whacking people with a sword that you've always wanted to do that with. You came telling stories and making jokes that were ranging from completely innocuous to very filthy. And you drank and you smoked a pipe and you ran around, and everybody was different, but everybody was themselves. Everybody was awesome and loved for being themselves. You showed up and you said, "Hey, everybody, this is me," and nobody put on a fucking facade. No one had to do that, and a lot of people said that they really felt like they showed up and everybody was nice to them. And I want to say that, with the exception of 1 or 2 people that were just too busy talking to me, really felt like that I got that same treatment. This was probably the only event in my life where I revealed every single side of myself. All of my interests, all of my hobbies, all of my peculiarities, all of my weirdness, and it wasn't met with a negative response. This was the only time in my entire life where I've been 100% myself and been completely accepted. So as much as everybody wants to say, "Hey, you guys are all awesome," I want to say that you guys are all awesome, because that was a wonderful gift to me, to be able to run around and do all the ridiculous things that I do. So my toast is to you. It's always to you. Again, for giving me a loan to help put this thing together, and all that fun stuff. But this is to me feeling just as happy as you all feel, but for completely different reasons. So this is to community. This is to what the Hearth is, and I built this so I could feel the way that I do right now. So thank you for letting that happen. Cheers. All right. And Kevin, do you want to give a closing toast since you just made it in?
First, is my audio messed up? Because last time it was like a nightmare.
We can hear you.
Okay, cool. I would. I feel like I owe you something, since I'd be giving a toast after, obviously, you. But instead of my usual bullshit, I'd actually like to toast to cranberries Yeah, toast. Because that was absolutely profound, and I really think sums up how we feel as Ultima fans. Despite the bandwidth problems, I could hear 90% of what she was saying, and that was absolutely outstanding, and I agree 100%. So thank you for that.
Oh,
Excellent. To Cranberry.
thank you.
To David's ass. And to Harley Dwartz, one of our photographers, who said, and I quote, after I belched as loud as I could, "My attraction to you is growing by the minute." So this is to Harley for making me feel appreciated for the weird, disgusting son of a bitch that I am.
To Harley!
All right. So, I'm Rustic Dragon. Everybody here is awesome. And we are here with multiple Legends of the Hearth. And we're going to say goodnight. We're going to go into after rabble mode. So, got any questions? As always, you can email me, rusticdragon@gmail.com. Go to Hearth of Britannia. Check things out. We're going to have pictures soon. It's going to be awesome. Blah-bitty-blah-bitty-blah. And we're done for the night. Good night, all.
Serpent venom.
Serpent venom.
Serpent venom.